Sing Street begins by showing a young man named Conor hanging out with his parent, brother, and sister in the dining room. His father opened the conversation by saying that their family is in a financial crisis. Their father hasn't got any commissions this year, while his mother only works 3 days a week. In conclusion, their parents want to move their school to a cheaper school than their previous one. Finally, they accepted their parents' decision. Conor's first day of school at a new place had begun. He attended a school called Sing Street. Arriving at school, the other students looked at him strangely because he was dressed so neatly that he looked geeky. He saw several students fighting. At the same time, another student threw a rat carcass at him. However, he still tried to calm down and adapt to his new school. While in class, Conor saw the state of the class was very chaotic. He sees his teachers who teach while drinking, other students who joke, and some even smoke. They seem preoccupied with their own world and do not pay attention to the lesson. Not long after, a man who was the principal walked into Conor's class. He scolds Conor for not wearing black shoes like the other students. Even the principal blamed his parents for not reading the rules on page 142 of the rule book. Conor replied that he didn't have black shoes, so he only wore the shoes he had. During break time, Conor is offered a cigarette by a male student named Barry, who invites him to smoke in the toilet. While they were on the toilet, it turns out that Barry actually threatened him with a slingshot to make him dance like a transvestite. Conor, still confused, remained silent, but Barry immediately let go of his slingshot and hit the lamp. Conor, feeling terrified, finally danced his best. Barry then told him to go into the bathroom cubicle and take off his pants, then dance again. Hearing that, he vehemently refused, and then Barry left him. In the evening, Conor gathered with his family in the living room while watching television, showing a music program. It turns out that his older brother, Brandon, really understands music. He was also interested in studying music to form a band. The next day, Conor still wore his brown shoes to school. It turned out that morning the principal was conducting a compliance raid, so Conor was brought into his room. There, he gets a bad note from the principal, confiscating his shoes. All that day, he walked only wearing socks even though he would go out of class. In break time, Conor buys a piece of chocolate. Suddenly Barry came and punched him in the face for no reason. Then Barry grabbed the chocolate he had just bought, ate it, and threw the wrapper at him. Not long after the bell rang, all the students left the cafeteria to go to their respective classes. Suddenly, a boy named Darren greeted Conor and asked him to meet during school hours. After school hours arrived, they met and talked while walking home. Darren tells Conor that Barry will continue to bother him for the first year because he shows weakness in front of Barry. Darren suggested he plan something so as not to be the target of Barry again. As they were about to leave the school gates, Conor saw a beautiful woman standing at the gate. He asked Darren who the woman was. Unfortunately, Darren doesn't even know her because she never talks to anyone, but he always sees her standing there. According to rumors, her boyfriend is a drug dealer, and it seems she is not interested in male students at this school. Finally, Conor got up the courage to go over to the woman and wanted to say hello. Arriving in front of her, he invited her to talk. Then she admitted that she did not want to continue her education because now she had become a model. Suddenly, he pretended to have a band and asked her to be a model for his video clip, but she didn't believe it. She asked him to sing if he was in a band. Conor finally sings in front of her, and when he finished, she left without even having a chance to ask her name. After that, Conor approached Darren with a panicked face, saying they must form a band. Shortly after, they went to the house of Darren's friend named Eamon. Darren introduced Conor to Eamon that he is a new student and wants to form a band. Eamon then invited the two of them into the mini studio at his house. Shortly afterward, Eamon shows his skill in playing a musical instrument. After that, he asked what instrument Conor could play. Conor replied that he prefers to sing and write a song. Finally, Eamon is ready to form a band and chose as a guitarist. After that, the three of them are thinking of looking for more personnel. Darren remembers someone and directly contacted a male friend named Njig. After that, they made an appointment to meet at Njig's house to discuss it. The next day, they put a flyer on the school wall. They wrote the futurist band was looking for a bass player and drummer. Not long after, two male students named Larry and Jerry were interested in joining after reading the flyer. Larry signed on as a bass player, Jerry as a drummer, and Darren served as the band's manager. Finally, the 6 members gathered to determine their band's name. One by one, they mentioned a band name until Eamon suggested it would be Sing Street. Turns out they all agreed with the name. Then they went together to Eamon's house to cover a rock and roll song called the Rio Grande and record it. In the evening, Conor meets Brandon to show him a recording of his band. But according to Brandon, the record was terrible because covering someone's song was a bad thing. He suggested that they make their own songs, which need practice. According to him, rock and roll is a type of music full of risk, and most people would mock him. The next day, Conor went to Eamon's house. He wrote a song inspired by that woman with Eamon playing the guitar. After that, he titled the song The Riddle of the Model. Then Eamon looked for song arrangements from his lyrics to create their band's first song. After that, Conor met the woman he met yesterday at the same place. He shows her the tape of their band and tells her that they will be shooting in a small alley behind Quinworth. While they were preparing their band equipment, Barry and his older brother suddenly passed beside them. After that, Barry and his older brother teased them for wearing weird costumes and makeup like women. Long story short, the making of the video clip was finished. Conor drove the woman home by bicycle. On the way, they talked and got to know each other, and that's when he just found out her name is Raphina. Arrived in front of Raphina's house, a man named Evan was driving a car called her. It turns out that he is her boyfriend. After Conor got home, he approached Brandon, who was sitting alone watching television. He told Brandon about their finished video clip for the band. According to Brandon, their video clip is not too rushed and good, however, it needs to be improved again. Shortly after that, Conor came to Eamon's house to compose a new song again. Because he always made lyrics based on the situation or his heart at that time, he finally created their second song entitled Up. The next day, Conor changed his appearance, including his hair color, and put makeup on his face. He looks more confident since starting a band and has even made songs and video clips. His change became the center of attention of the other students until he was called by the principal. Conor was asked to remove the makeup on his face and dye his hair back. However, he refused because he felt he had not violated the school rules, so he left the principal's office. Suddenly, the principal chased and dragged him into the bathroom to violently remove the makeup on his face. When it was school time, it turned out that Raphina was already at the school gate waiting for Conor. She took him to the park and told him that she and Evan were going to London soon. Hearing this, he was surprised and asked more about the condition of the house they would live in, how they lived there, and others. Raphina then told a little about herself. Her father had died in a car crash, while her mother had a mental disorder. Soon afterward, Raphina asked Conor to compose a cheerful song and sad before she went to London. He hugged her and said that he was willing to compose the song for her. The next day after school, Conor invited his band to make a cheerful and sad-themed song, then made a video clip. When making the video clip, many scenes show the romance between Conor and Raphina, making them look closer to each other. On the way home by train, Conor looked at Raphina with a deep gaze. It seemed he loved her and would miss her very much when she left. The next day at school, the 6 band members changed their appearance with an eccentric style, making them more confident. Suddenly, Barry shouts at them and says their band is a gay band. At that time, Conor had dared to fight him with a bunch of words that affected all the students' minds. Then Barry said he would kill Conor someday. Conor replied emphatically that it would never happen because he thought it wasn't real. He considers Barry as material for him to compose more songs. An angry Barry threatened to hit him. Shockingly, he bravely challenges Barry to hit him. Conor says that Barry only has the power to stop some things but can't create them. As a result, he embarrassed Barry in front of all the students who witnessed him. During break time, Conor saw on a wall magazine that their school would have an art show. They planned to attend that event. However, Eamon said that their band isn't ready yet and they need time to practice again, whereas tomorrow they have school exams and have to study. Soon afterward, Eamon asked if the girls would come to see the performing arts show. Conor said yes. Hearing that, he immediately changed his mind and asked Conor to practice the band so they could perform at the school's art show. When the day of the school exam arrived, the 6 band members seemed to have difficulty answering the exam questions. Meanwhile, Barry felt that he didn't care about the exam. He even threw away the exam paper and chose to sleep. After the exams, Conor took Raphina on a boat trip to the other side of the island. Arriving on the island, they were seen relaxing, talking, and doing some romantic things. Arriving at the house, Conor was invited to gather with his entire family. His father said that their mother fell in love with a man named Tony. But his parents cannot divorce in Ireland, so their parents will only be legally separated. They were also asked whether to live with their mother or father. During his chaotic family situation, Conor still has to prepare for his show at an art performance at school. While doing a sound check on stage, he imagined that his family came there in good condition. Before the art show begins, Darren and Conor visit Barry's house. When he opened the door and saw the two of them coming, he asked why they had come to his house. Darren replied that their band intends to invite him to join their band. According to Darren, they have one thing in common: they fail in education. Therefore, they have to find another way to achieve success in the future, namely through music. Darren offers Barry to be a crew member of their band, which will also tour several cities with different women. Finally, Barry decided to join their band. Long story short, the performing arts began. After Sing Street performed, all the students felt very entertained. It turns out that Conor has made a song for his principal as a form of revenge for having his shoes confiscated by him and even humiliating him. Conor also made many masks with his principal's face and distributed them to all the students. Seeing this, the principal was embarrassed and left the art performance room. After the art show is over, Conor and Raphina agreed to meet. It seems she didn't go to London with Evan. Then he brought her to his house to introduce her to Brandon. After that, they both asked Brandon to take them to Dalkey as they both planned to travel to England and achieve their dreams. They both went there without money but only brought their portfolios, including Sing Street recordings. Hearing this, Brandon was very excited and supported them in going to England. Before leaving, Conor came to his parents' sleeping room and said goodbye. Arriving at the Dalkey wharf, they said goodbye to Brandon and left for England. The moral that can be learned from this movie is that if we fail in one thing, we don't necessarily fail in another. The important thing is that we want to try it.